Hi guys, Sam here from Baseline. So today we're going to do a racket review on the Vostra V8 300g racket. Okay, so this racket is a 100 square inch head. It also has a 16 by 18 string pattern. Okay, and weighs in at 300 gram. In terms of cosmetics, I think the racket design looks really cool. I really like the orange or the red. In terms of stringing, it's been strung with the Volkl Cyclone. It's a 1.3mm string. Also comes as a 1.25 as well in various colours. It's got a slight shape to it. Be honest with you, it's not something that I would normally use. So quite keen to give it a try and give it a test. The rackets also, now this is something maybe for a separate video altogether, but the Volkl rackets have something called Reaver in the handle. Now, basically what that is, in a nutshell, nice and short, is it's a material that's underneath the pallet system in the handle. It's incredibly shock absorbing, gives you lots of good feel and feedback from the racket upon contact as well. So let's get stuck in, let's hit some balls and let's see what we think. So from the first few hits, this feels, God, it feels really nice. Really like the 300g weight. I think it's definitely a weight that, oh, too close again. Definitely feels like a weight that's nice for me. Feel like I can generate quite a lot of power without necessarily having to try too hard, which is always nice. Feel like I'm getting a lot of spin, or enough spin to keep the ball in. But that ball is definitely, for me, going that bit faster, which is nice. So again, on the backhand side, it's always a shot that I don't seem to be able to generate so much power with. And I definitely feel that with this frame that I'm hitting the ball with a lot heavier, with a lot more pace, which is great. So with the slice backhand, which is a shot that I fall on a lot of the time, it just feels like I'm lacking a little bit of control at times. I just wonder if that's down to the slightly thicker beam and the 100 square inch head. Just doesn't maybe quite feel as sharp as something I'm normally used to. When volleying with the racket, it feels really nice because I feel like my volleys have got a bit more on them and a bit more punch and a bit more pop, which is really good. Again, nice for when you're trying to put the ball away on top of the net or deeper inside the court, looking at approaching and trying to generate some depth. But again, a bit like the slice backhand, where I feel like it lacks, for me, was just on the feel and touch. So trying to stop a ball dead or trying to play a drop volley, just didn't quite feel like I had as much control as I would normally like. Hitting the ball so much harder with that. My best serve I've hit and my fucking thing comes out. A piece of technology in the Volkl Vostra frames is something called a super grommet. Okay, now one of the reasons why I think I'm hitting the ball a lot harder than I normally do and generating what I like to call sort of easy power, and a lot more easy power, is I think down to these grommets, or a lot of it's down to the grommets. So they're in the midsection of the frame here and here. Okay, and they're a lot bigger, and so the string's got more space to move. So it feels like the ball is inside the racket for a little bit longer. And then as the string's got more space to move, it's almost catapulting the ball out at the same time. think the other thing as well is it does generate what feels like a bigger sweet spot. When you tend to use the heavier frames, they tend to have a smaller sweet spot. So for myself, who needs a bigger sweet spot, every little helps. Definitely helping me generate more power, and I do think it's down to these grommets for definite. Okay, so to sum up, for me, that feels fantastic. Part of my game that I've always struggled with is trying to increase speed and power. Not too bad at getting a lot of balls back, but I just sometimes when I'm trying to put the ball away or hit a bigger serve or looking for a little bit more oomph from the racket, I do struggle to find it. Whereas that, probably the first time really I've really felt it, that feels like I'm hitting the ball a lot harder. Weight feels really good. Again, for myself, 300 gram is a weight that I quite like. I sort of dabble in about a 290 to a 305, but a 300 is lovely. But the biggest surprise for me is the 100 square inch head. I've never used a 100 square inch head. I've always used like a 95 or a 98, 97. Whereas that feels fantastic. Balance feels really good. I guess the only thing I think from using it there is just a bit on the touch and feel. So when you're trying to stop a ball dead or drop volleys or a little bit on the slice as well, I felt like I had lost a bit of control. But I think if you're looking for a racket, 300 gram, 100 square inch head, and you're looking for a racket that will give you a load more power, easy power as well, I don't think you can go too far wrong with the Volkl Vostra V8 300.